Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Mike with the forecast update for you for this October the 2nd, 2023. I'm hoping everybody's having a great Monday out there so far. Hope everybody has a great Monday afternoon. Hope everybody continues to stay safe and well and also enjoy the weather because it's the only weather you got. Okay, in today's video, we're going to be talking about the tropics here. Here is Tropical Storm Philippe. Still spinning. Also, we got another little system behind it. The National Hurricane Center needs to keep an eye on as well. Here, moving off the African coast, but nothing developed at this time. Also got a little system down near the Bahamas. Back down into the and also got some systems over in the Eastern Pacific. Need to keep a close eye on as well. Any of these storms here can become something tropical in nature, maybe in the Eastern Pacific. Alright, we still got high pressure dominate pretty much the east coast of the United States. As you can see, we got everything just going around that high pressure ridge. As you can see here, that high pressure ridge will continue to dominate in pretty much the east coast through much of this week. We got a cold front extending back over here in portions of the plains. Will develop and move. The low pressure will lift into Canada, dragging a cold front to the east, which may spark off a shower or two possible along the Atlantic coast. But as the shower and storm move to the east, they will continue to die in intensity because so much dry air has been entrapped over the east coast for the past several weeks. It's going to take a lot of moisture to moisten up the atmosphere in the eastern portion of the United States, especially the southeast from North Carolina back down into Georgia, maybe even Alabama, because like I said, it's going to be kind of tough to get any rain to fall in this very, very dry air mass as we're in. If you are now not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and consider subscribing. Love to have you. Like these videos, share these videos, and consider subscribing one more time. And let's go ahead and finish up this forecast, and we're going to get the show on the road here, folks. Alright, now we're going to take a look at Tropical Storm Philippe. As you can see, Philippe getting a little better organized. And you can see here are the Windward and Leeward Islands here. This system is getting pretty close. I would not be surprised this system maybe sneak a little further to the west and maybe interact with most of the islands here, and before it finally makes its turn to the north, northeast. But right now we got high pressure pretty much just parked over it right now, and that's why it's suppressing it further to the west than what the model's been projecting. So stronger high pressure to the north will continue to push this system to the west, and also a weaker system will continue to move to the west as well. Alright, let's move on to, we're going to take a look at the Alright, should be coming up here in just a few minutes. Alright, you can see here is the tropical storm wind field almost near the islands. I would not be surprised from here, like I said yesterday in yesterday's video, any island, well really this one here to the north, you will get affected. Anybody from that island to the south, you will not be affected by this tropical storm. But you will feel some tropical storm force winds as it continues to push on off to the west just a little bit, and then eventually to the northwest. Right now, the movement is to the northwest at 7, but like I said, if it wobbles a little bit back to the left here, these islands from here northward will get affected by tropical storm force winds. So that's what we have to keep an eye on as well. As you can see, it keeps a tropical storm through Thursday at 8 a.m. By Friday morning, it's a hurricane just east of Bermuda. The cone is shifted back to the west. That's what I've been talking about. It may move back a little bit further to the west. Bermuda, you probably will get in on some tropical storm conditions as the wind field continues to expand as it continues to push on off to the north and west. Alright, if you're tracking Philippe at home, it's located near latitude 17.3 north, longitude 61.0 west. Maximum sustained winds are near 50 miles an hour still, with higher gusts and movement into the northwest at 7 miles per hour. Classified as tropical storm with winds of 39 to 73 miles per hour. Alright, now let's take a look at the forecast spaghetti-o models. As you can see here, that model came into fruition. The I think it was the pink one here that came into pretty well in hand, because it did say it was going to go back to the west, and they pretty well handled it pretty well on that track. But anyway, here are the islands here. Like I said, here is the islands I was predicting. Anybody from here to the north, you're probably going to get it on some tropical storm force wind. Alright, here's the center of the storm. Continues to push on off to the north. I don't even see Bermuda. I think that model there is running right over Bermuda here. I think it's running right over the island of Bermuda. I think that's where Bermuda is, right behind that them two computer models there. I think it's right there. The island is one's taking a direct hit. The other one's taking it all to the east. But I would not be surprised to see this thing bend back a little bit further to the west once again in later forecasts. Alright. Alright, you can see here we got winds of 45 knots, equal to 50 miles an hour. Still keeps it a tropical storm. National Hurricane Center still going as a hurricane, because some of the models going hurricane, some just keep it as a tropical storm. Still expecting it to become a Category 1 hurricane. So we just still waiting on as soon as it moves away from the island, gets over a little warmer waters, that's when we're expecting it to start intensifying as it continues to push on off to the west, northwest. Alright, that's your tropical update. Let's move on to the Watches, Warning, and Advisory map. Alright, as you can see here, we got coastal flood advisory still up here around the Washington, D.C., Delaware vicinity. Also down in southeast Georgia, northeast Florida. Still got gale warning from Maine all the way down to the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Also from southern South Carolina to the east coast of Florida. West coast of Florida all the way back to southeast Texas. Also, we have a red flag warning also in effect, still remains in effect for southern Louisiana, eastern Texas, couple counties there. Flood advisory is also in effect for southeastern portion of Louisiana. Also, flood watches in effect for portions of New Mexico. Wind advisory for portions of eastern areas of Arizona. Northwestern portions of Colorado, got some freeze watches there. Winter weather advisory also in effect there for you guys in a portion of northeast Utah. Special weather statements for portion of Wyoming. Beach hazard statements for you guys here in Oregon. Also from North California all the way to southern Oregon. Gale warnings there. We still had a winter storm warning, winter weather advisory for portions of Alaska. Special weather statements also in the east, north side as well. Gale warnings around the area. Hawaii and Chain Island looks a-okay at this time. Alright, now here's the severe weather perspective of this video. As you can see, general thunderstorm for South Florida, Florida Keys, South Texas, all the way back up north to Portland, Montana, back over to Minnesota. Also, we have a slight risk from a marginal risk from West Texas all the way to portions of North Dakota. Slight risk for South Dakota and portions of Kansas. Same for portions of New Mexico and West Texas as well. Alright, if you live in Roswell, New Mexico, Clovis, New Mexico, Hobbs, New Mexico, Carlsbad, New Mexico, Scott Bluff, Nebraska. Slight risk for severe weather this afternoon. If you live in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Colorado Springs, Colorado, Lubbock, Texas, Amarillo, Texas, Pablo, Colorado. A marginal risk for severe weather this afternoon. Tornado probability. We have a 2% in the green, 5% in the brown. If you live in Clovis and Patel, New Mexico, you're under a 5% risk for a tornado this afternoon. If you live in Roswell, Hobbs, Carlsbad, here's for Texas, and let's see, Roswell and Hobbs, New Mexico, and also Carlsbad, New Mexico. Also, that's 2% risk for a tornado. If you live in Hereford, Texas, and also Las Vegas, New Mexico, you're under 2% risk for a tornado this afternoon. All right, damaging winds, 5% in brown, 15 in the yellow. All right, if you live in Clovis, New Mexico, Hobbs, New Mexico, Carlsbad, New Mexico, Scottsbluff, Nebraska, Patel, New Mexico, 15% risk for damaging winds. If you live in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Colorado Springs, Colorado, Lubbock, Texas, Amarillo, Texas, Pablo, Colorado, 5% risk for a damaging wind gust over 60 miles per hour. All right, if you live in the 5% area, 15% significant severe weather area. All right, if you live in the 15 and the significant severe weather area, this includes Roswell, New Mexico, Hobbs, New Mexico, Clovis, New Mexico, Carlsbad, New Mexico, Patel, New Mexico, Arteza, New Mexico, here for Texas, that's for large hail. If you live in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Colorado Springs, Colorado, Lubbock, Texas, Amarillo, Texas, and Pablo, Colorado, 5% risk for large hail this afternoon. All right, let's move on to day number 2. All right, you can see we still got general thunderstorm from eastern Florida down to the Florida Keys, also from much of Texas all the way to Minnesota, far west of Minnesota, also far west of Montana, back to portion of Idaho. Also, we have a marginal risk from up here near portion of South Dakota, North Dakota, all the way through Minnesota, down to West Texas. Slight risk from West Texas all the way into portion of Nebraska. All right, if you live in Midland, Texas, Odessa, Texas, Grand Island, Nebraska, Canary, Nebraska, Garden City, Kansas, slight risk of severe weather on your Tuesday. If you live in Omaha, Nebraska, Wichita, Kansas, Lincoln, Nebraska, Lubbock, Texas, Amarillo, Texas, a marginal risk for severe weather on your Tuesday. Tornado probability, 2% in the green here from North Texas all the way into portions of South Dakota. If you live in Grand Island, Nebraska, Canary, Nebraska, Garden City, Kansas, Dodge City, Kansas, Norfolk, Nebraska, 2% risk for a tornado. Damaging winds, 5% in the brown, 15 in the yellow. If you live in the 15% area, this is Grand Island, Nebraska, Canary, Nebraska, Dodge City, Kansas, Norfolk, Nebraska, Hastings, Nebraska. If you live in Omaha, Nebraska, Wichita, Kansas, Lincoln, Nebraska, Lubbock, Texas, Amarillo, Texas, 5% risk for damaging wind. Hail probability, pretty much same location. If you live in a significant area, this includes Grand Island, Nebraska, Canary, Nebraska, Garden City, Kansas, Dodge City, Kansas, Hastings, Nebraska, 15%. This includes Midland, Texas, Odessa, Texas, Grand Island, Nebraska, Canary, Nebraska, Garden City, Kansas. If you live in the 5% region, this is Omaha, Nebraska, Wichita, Kansas, Lincoln, Nebraska, Lubbock, Texas, Amarillo, Texas. That's the 5% risk for large hail on your Tuesday. All right, let's move on to day number 3. All right, we have general thunderstorm from southeast Georgia through Florida to the Florida Keys, from Texas all the way to Michigan, back over to Wisconsin, Minnesota. Marginal risk down in Texas and Oklahoma. All right, if you live in Abilene, Texas, Wichita Falls, Texas, Midland, Texas, Lawton, Oklahoma, Odessa, Texas. Marginal risk for severe weather on Wednesday. The probability, 5%. Same area, Abilene, Texas to Odessa, Texas and surrounding areas for severe weather on Wednesday. All right, let's move on to the Climate Prediction Center. This is the 8-14 day temperature outlook and precipitation outlook. All right, you can see here we got above normal temperature for much of the United States, from portions of Maine all the way back into portions of Michigan, back to Texas, all the way back to Washington State. Well above normal temperatures expected over the Dakotas, back into Minnesota, also portions of Minnesota, Montana, also in the packed portions of Wyoming. Below normal temperatures expected up here from Connecticut to the Carolinas, portions of Georgia. Above normal temperatures for South Florida. Near normal temperatures are expected in the gray area, extended from portions of Northeast down to the South, all the way back down to South Texas, and also much of Florida. All right, below normal temperatures expected in the west of Alaska, central Alaska, and near normal in the eastern areas. All right, precipitation, We got below normal precipitation expected from Maine all the way down through portions of North Carolina, far west as Wyoming, Colorado, and portions of Montana. Near normal in the gray area, extending from portions of Montana back to Southern California to South Carolina and North Carolina. Above normal precipitation from southern South Carolina back to south. Much of Texas, also down into portions of Florida. Same again over in the Pacific Northwest from portions of Montana, California, back into Washington, Oregon State. Well above normal precipitation expected in Washington and Oregon states. Also below normal precipitation in the west Alaska, near normal central and east. Above normal precipitation expected in Alaska. Alright, well, everybody enjoyed this video. Everybody continue to stay safe and well. Also enjoy the weather because it's the only weather you got. Like these videos, share these videos, consider subscribing if you have not. And we'll catch you back in the next video. So have a wonderful, wonderful Monday afternoon, folks.